So we're going to come back to the BPO due date task now and describe what the different types a task or an auto task can have. Now, the default type of a task is basically just a task, and that creates an actionable item within the property that the users of the group can see. If you navigate to the property itself, you would see the list of things that need to be done for that property, who owns it, when it's due, any notes or instructions associated with that. And it just basically says, here's something in the property, is it done or is it not? And then you can mark it as complete. That's the basic type of task that we have in the system. The second type would be an email notification. And then what this allows you to do is use the tasking system in Broker Brain to send out automatic email notifications to basically anybody that you would like to notify about things that are happening through your process. Now, if you select the email notification for a task, then there really is no due date that needs to be set in terms of days to complete. What's going to happen is when the task fires, when the status changes, the email notification will just immediately go out, and that will be the end of it. Now, because these notifications are separate from the notifications that go to the users who are members of the group that the task was assigned to, so you can use this as subsequent notifications to internal folks. You can use it to notify people outside your company or people that are assigned specifically to the property, and you need to define what those email notifications will look like and enable which ones you want to do. Now in this case, because this isn't only an email notification and there's no task tied to it, the only valid option here is the onCreate notification. So I would need to enable the onCreate notification and then click Edit. And what this is going to do is pop up a email template dialog that allows me to define what the email that's going to go out will look like. And you can use actual email addresses in these dialogs, like me@me.com, and then I could also add the assigned agent email as a macro to this dialog, and then maybe also the eviction attorney email address to this dialog. And what this will do is once the task is dispatched for the property, it will replace these macros within the email templates with the actual property information. And so we can use macros in the to, CC, BCC, and from fields, also in the subject field and also in the message field. And you can see the list of macros off to the right, all kinds of different information on the property, the task, etc. And the important thing here is that you do need to specify a from address, otherwise it shows that it's coming from mail services at brokerbrain.net as opposed to coming from someone within your company. And then you can write, set BPO due date for, and then we can add the property address to this, and this will intelligently build an email and send it to whoever you'd like to have it sent to. Now in the case, and then obviously at the bottom, you have the ability to save this information, send a test email so you can see what it'll look like when it actually is dispatched. And if you come up with an email template and it's very similar from notification to notification, you can actually copy and paste these between dialogues. So we'll just go ahead and copy this one and submit it back. And so we've now created an email notification for the set BPO due date auto task, and what will happen is when this task goes out, the email that we created in the template will automatically go out, and then it will log a completed task to the property that has all the email information that went out, so that you can have a record of that happening. Now the third type of task that we have is a task and email notification, and this is a combination of the two that we've just discussed, where you have an actionable item in the property as well as an email notification that goes out. And because there is a task associated with this particular email notification, we now have the ability to use an on-due notification and an on-complete in addition to the on-create. So once this task or this auto task is fired for the property, we can have it send an email when the task is created. We can have an email sent on the due date for the task, and we can have a separate email sent for when the task has been marked as complete. And each one of these is its own custom email, and we'll have to define the template for each one of these. So I before had already predefined my on create notification, and now we can go into our on due. and we can paste the information that we had previously entered and maybe change the message a little bit and say today is the due date, and just tweak the email slightly for the on due notification. And then the on complete could be used to notify somebody that this is done. Now it's time to move on to another part of the process, or you can use this just to trigger another series of events, or just notify somebody that this particular job has been completed. And so those are the three different types of tasks that you can create within the auto tasks section. And then when I go ahead and click update to this, you'll see that we have three different email icons across the top, one for our on create, one for our on due, and one for our on complete notification. And all three of those appear because we enabled all three. Now I would be in trouble with this particular one because I didn't actually enter a template for the on complete, so maybe we could turn off the enable for that one, or otherwise it's just going to send a blank email to no one. And now you'll see that we only have two icons, and you can click on these icons to quickly edit these templates without having to drill into the actual auto task.